Hello everybody, I'm JackieKCooper and this is my entertainment rundown. Well, with The Lion King dominating theaters and Spider-Man right there behind it, and Aladdin right behind that, there wasn't much room for other movies to open. But we did get another movie that opened this past weekend in various locations. It's called The Art of Self-Defense, and it stars Jesse Eisenberg. And he plays a mild-mannered man. He has a job, technology, figures, accounting, that type of thing. And, he goes to his job at the office and he has a dachshund at home as a pet and really has no friends and lives kind of a bleak life. And one day he runs out of dog food at night and he goes out to get dog food for his dog. And on the way back, he is assaulted by three people on motorbikes who get off their bikes, come over, rob him, beat him up, and really put him in the hospital. And so he's constantly then living in fear that something like this is going to happen again. But one night he rides by and sees a karate school being run, and he goes in to watch, and he gets to meet the guy that they all call Sensei. He's played by Alessandro Nivola, and he kind of takes a liking to Jesse Eisenberg's character and says, "Hey, you need to sign up. We can do so much for you, and can make you live a life that's not a life of fear." Now, all of this is in the first few minutes of the movie. And you think, well, this is, kind of a nice movie about how this guy's going to overcome his fears and etc. But even in those first few minutes, there are elements of dark comedy, things that are said and done that you don't expect. And then maybe 10 minutes into the movie, it goes all out into this dark comedy, a world full of violence and, the whole thing. And you're thinking, I kind of got thrown off course here, not expecting this. And you're that way, to the end of the movie, because it is I don't know if you would call it an absurdist look at the violence in our world today, but it borders on that. And the comedy is very subtle, and the characterizations are very subtle, and you either have to go with the flow or just back off from it. I tried to go with the flow because I've seen movies like this. There was a movie years and years ago called Very Bad Things. It was about bad things that happened to supposedly good people, and that movie just kept me laughing all the way through it. And you even felt bad at some of the things you were laughing at. But I didn't laugh through this movie. I like Jesse Eisenberg. He can portray that, milquetoast type of person and really get it done. But it just didn't come together like I wanted it to in this film. I may go back and watch it again because maybe I missed something in it. But I'd be interested in what your comments about this would be. But it is a dark comedy. So, just have your antenna alert for that when you go in, and maybe you'll appreciate it more, because I was going in one direction and then the movie just veered off into another. But it's rated R because there's profanity and there's nudity and there is violence, unexpected violence. It's Jesse Eisenberg, Alessandro Nivola, and Imogen Poots. She plays the female person who teaches the children, but is also involved in some of the classes, there. So I scored it 5 out of 10. It did not get above average to me, even with its differences that it placed up on the screen. But you may have a different reaction. I just need to alert you to this because it is out there. It's being overwhelmed by The Lion King, etc. But if you get a chance, you might want to take a look at it. Then I also want to mention a documentary called Mike Wallace is Here. And this is a documentary about the life of the CBS Newsman 60 Minutes star Mike Wallace. He's the father of Chris Wallace, who is now a news person on Fox News. But Mike Wallace was just one of the big news reporters for many decades. He was known for his brash, irreverent interview style. And I enjoyed this movie, and people will have written in saying, you say you don't like documentaries, but just about every documentary you look at, you like. And that's true. I did like this one. I thought, it was better than average. I didn't like it because it never got into the personal side of Mike Wallace. I wanted to know more about the man himself, his relationships as a husband. He was married, I think, 4 times, had 2 children. And I just wanted to know more about that person. This is more about the interviewer and what he can consider to be his assets as an interviewer. It's rated PG-13 because there is profanity in the film, and I scored it 6 out of 10. Then we have a movie called Crown and Anchor. This is another one. It's kind of like Mean Streets, that old movie. I like that. This one takes place in Canada. It's about 2 cousins. One grew up to be a police officer. The other one turned to a life of crime. He buys and sells drugs. He's a user himself. He also abuses alcohol. He's married with 2 children. The one who became a cop is single. They were both involved with the same woman. The cop had a relationship with her first, and then she ended up marrying his cousin. So they both have a relationship with her, and in the film. But the 2 stars are Michael Rowe and Matt Wells. I've never heard of either one of them, but they are excellent, especially the one who plays the policeman. He's like he's got a lit fuse, and he's going to explode at any moment. But it's a lot of conflict. The policeman has been, begged by his family to try to rescue the cousin, get him out of the life that he's in. But the 2 cousins don't get along. So it's got a gripping plot that plays out. It has Stephen McCaddy in it, who's an actor I've known forever, and he does a very good job as the one with the drug problem. It's his father. And so, it's the policeman's father. The relationships in this film get confusing. But it's rated, like I said, it's not rated, but it should be R for profanity and violence. I scored it 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it that much. It jumped up to that level. The acting, the relationships, the plot, how it all folds together. It was one of the best things that I had seen for a while. So I really do recommend it. 7 out of 10. That's a good score for me. I'm going to mention real quick a film called Expo. It's not rated, but it would be rated R for profanity and violence. It's very amateurish. It stars Derek Davenport and Amelia Haberman. It's about a man who is trying to do the work. His daughter is kidnapped and placed into a sex trafficking ring, and he's trying to get her back. It is so amateurishly done, though. I scored it 4 out of 10. The plot holds your interest, but that's it. So there are your movies for this week. Press the subscribe button. Come aboard as a subscriber. This has been Jackie K. Cooper's Entertainment Rundown.